Choose the totally tax-free option for your retirement. In this episode, I'm going to address the question, what are other retirement options besides 401k? Get ready, and you're going to understand why I have never owned a 401k or an IRA, and I never will, because I choose something far better. But when people ask the question, what are other retirement options? I go, okay, are you ready? I'm going to show you something that is far better than a 401k. So my name's Doug Andrew, and I've been a financial strategist for more than 4.5 decades, helping people prepare for retirement and not outlive their money. Unfortunately, a lot of Americans, when they retire, they don't realize that they're going to have to pay tax on their tax-deferred IRAs and 401ks, and pretty soon they are running out of money. I don't want you to outlive your money, so listen close to something that is far better than a traditional IRA or 401k, because I would recommend, if your employer offers a 401k, that you not contribute one dime more than what they're matching you on. In fact, sometimes when you understand what I'm going to show you here, people don't even take advantage of the match. But if your employer will match, let's say 50 cents on every dollar you contribute up to 6% of your income, a lot of people say, I'm getting a 50% rate of return. No, you're not. You're just starting out with 50% more. It means that if you contribute $1 and your employer matches 50 cents, you now have $1.50. If you immediately were vested and you pulled out that $1.50, you would give that 50 cents back to the government in tax. So employer matching sort of just covers your tax liability when you take the money out down the road. You're not getting 50% rates of return. You're just starting out with 50% more. You're getting whatever rate of return you're going to get. And a lot of people have pretty pathetic rates of return on their 401ks. So many times people have said, you know what? I'm not even making money on my 401k. So I'm not even going to contribute because the employer 401k stinks. I go, well, yeah, I wouldn't either. So I usually advise that they put money into something that's going to be tax-free on the back end. So let me give you a metaphor right now to help you understand what I'm talking about. So let me ask you this. If you were a farmer, let's say, and you had the choice in the springtime when you bought your seed that you're going to plant, that you could buy the seed and not have to pay tax on the price of the seed. And so you plant the seed, you cultivate, you irrigate, you work hard, and in the fall, you're going to harvest your crops. And now you agree to pay tax on what you sell your harvest for. That's a traditional IRA or 401k. You get a tax break on the seed money, but when you harvest the money in retirement, now you agree to pay tax. Now, a lot of people are told, oh, you'll be in a lower tax bracket when you retire. Hey, that has not been true or axiomatic for more than 25 years. Most people who save and have a respectable retirement nest egg are in as high or higher tax brackets as they were ever in during their earning years and their retired years, because they have been killing their deductions, paying off their house, the kids are gone. You're not contributing money to IRAs and 401ks. If you're a business owner, you don't have those deductions anymore, and Congress keeps raising taxes. So most people find themselves in this higher bracket. I've had school teachers who ended up in retirement paying back every dime they saved in tax over 30 years during the contribution phase. In the first 2.5, 3 years of retirement, they paid back every dime they saved on the contribution phase in the distribution phase. And every 3 years thereafter, they paid back 100% again, to where by the time they passed away, they had paid back 8, 12, 15 times the taxes on the back end than they saved on the front end. Whose retirement were they planning? Theirs or Uncle Sam's? People don't think about this. And so a lot of times people are tempted into putting money into a Roth. A Roth was passed in 1997. It was a step in the right direction. The government didn't pass Roths for our benefit necessarily. They were hard up for tax revenue. And Senator Roth said, I have an idea. Smart people, they would rather pay tax on the seed and enjoy the harvest without tax. So we'll call this a Roth IRA. And then later a Roth 401k. So you put in after-tax money, it accumulates tax-free, but when you retire, you take it out tax-free. And I can prove to you mathematically that a Roth will perform and generate more income and last longer than a traditional IRA or 401k if you believe that in the long run, taxes are going to be higher. And most Americans do. So only 9% of Americans put money into Roths. Now, I've never owned an IRA or 401k, never will. I've never owned a Roth. Now, my favorite vehicle I call the Laser Fund, which is actually a max-funded tax-advantaged insurance contract where I have averaged between 6 to 10% tax-free rates of returns for the last 40 years. My money doubles every 7 to 10 years. Every $1 million I have accumulated in my portfolio of laser funds will generate 60 to 100,000 a year of tax-free income into perpetuity. Most IRAs and 401ks, if you have $1 million, the most they'll let you take out is 4% a year. It's called the 4% rule. You pull out 40,000, you pay tax of 20,000 or 10,000 in a 25% bracket. After taxes and fees, most people are only netting about 20 or 25,000. That's pretty pathetic. What would you rather have? 40,000 and then pay tax, or 80,000 tax-free? Hello? People say, well, I've never heard of this laser fund. Well, it's what savvy CPAs and tax attorneys call the rich man's Roth. And I snicker because you don't have to be rich to have one, but the rich can't own a Roth. So let me explain the 6 advantages of a laser fund versus only the 2 advantages that Roth IRAs and 401ks have. So a Roth has just 2 advantages. Before I share the 4 additional advantages of a laser fund, let me say, if this is intriguing you, and you know somebody who has money trapped in an IRA or 401k, or they're wondering and want to know the answer to the same question, what are the other investment options besides a 401k? Share this video, subscribe, and make sure they listen. And I'm going to show you how you can learn more with a free copy of my most recent best-selling 300-page book, The Laser Fund, okay? Now, Roths, you fund with after-tax dollars. They accumulate tax-free, and you can access your money tax-free. The Laser Fund has had those advantages for over 100 years, grandfathered as a sacred cow in the Internal Revenue Code. My heavens, I have had those advantages long before Roths were introduced in 1997. But I have 4 additional benefits. What are they? With my Laser Fund, I can contribute a lot of money if I have a banner year. 100,000, 200,000, 300,000. You can't put that much money into a Roth. You're restricted. Not only that, if I could put in 300,000 and I don't, I only put in 30,000, that's okay. I can put in the other 270,000 anytime in the future. You can't do that with a Roth. You're restricted. If you don't use the room in a given tax year, which is small, you forever lose the room. Here's the next advantage. If I put in, let's say, 100,000 or $300,000, and 30 days later, a month later, I need 250,000 back for a business opportunity, an emergency. It doesn't matter. I can access my money. There is no IRS penalty. I can access my money for any reason. You can't touch your money in a Roth for 5 years or till you're 59 and a half. There's all these strings attached. With a laser fund, I can use indexing. What's indexing? It's where I can have my money participate when the market is doing well and it goes up, but I do not lose a dime when the market crashes. Because with the laser fund, your money is not at risk in the market. The insurance institution pays you based upon the index that you're linked to, but it's not an index mutual fund. My money is not in the market, but they pay me what the market does up to a cap, but when the market loses, I don't lose. And people say, how can they afford to do that? You need to read my book to understand this. This is a game changer for people's retirement. That's called indexing. The last benefit with my laser fund, when I die, every million will blossom in less than 3 weeks to about 2.5 million if I died right now. I'm 68. There's not a Roth around that will do that. And people say, what? So if you had $1 million and you die, it actually blossoms to 2.5 million and transfers tax-free. Yep. how much does that cost? And I go, well, nothing's free, but I'm not paying for it. It's being paid for with a minuscule portion of money that would otherwise go out the window in unnecessary tax if I followed the herd and put my money in IRAs or 401ks or Roths. And so people go, whoa, I've never heard of this before. Well, I wish I had a nickel for every time I've heard that. And so in my book, The Laser Fund, I actually show why so many people haven't heard of it and what makes it so great. It's like a godsend. It's a miracle. It's a dream solution, not only for retirement, but for any financial goal. College funding for your kids, working capital for business, real estate management, emergency funds, and on and on and on. It's like the Swiss Army knife in financial vehicles. It has so many applications, and I want you to learn how powerful this is because you can have your cake and eat it too. You can fund it with tax-advantaged dollars if you combine strategies together, but it will accumulate tax-free. And when you die, it blossoms and transfers tax-free. And you can access money, and every million can generate 80, 90, 100,000 a year of tax-free income for as long as you live. It knocks the socks off of traditional 401ks. So what's better than a 401k? A laser fund. If you go, I've got to learn about this. Yes, you do. Here's how. So I've been blessed to have written 11 books thus far. They've all been bestsellers. My most recent book, number 11, is called The Laser Fund. It's flying off the warehouse shelves. It's in its 6th printing already. It retails for $20. I want to gift you a free copy. And so here's how you can claim your free copy. But let me say this. See these 4 pillars? They stand for liquidity, safety, rate of return, and tax benefits. LASER is an acronym that stands for Liquid Asset Safely Earning Returns. This is where I accumulate my serious cash, tax-free. So this is a rating system on any investment. On a scale of 1 to 10, I can rank any investment, mutual funds, IRAs, 401ks, annuities, municipal bonds, you name it, Roths, on a scale of 1 to 10 with liquidity, safety, rate of return, and tax benefits. Do you know that most investments only score between 18 to 22 out of a possible 40? Why is the Laser Fund my favorite vehicle? Because it scores 34, 35, 36 out of 40. There's nothing else I know of that scores that high with liquidity, safety, predictable rates of return, tax-free. So go to laserfund, L-A-S-E-R, fund.com. Contribute a nominal amount towards the shipping and handling. I have a little bit of skin in the game. I'll cover the rest of the cost there, but I'll pay for the book. It's actually 2 books in one. This one is about 200 pages and contains all kinds of charts and graphs. You flip the book over, and this one is 100 pages, 12 chapters with 62 actual client stories. So however you like to learn, I want to gift you this copy and empower you, and you'll begin to go, wow, this is way better than a 401k.